Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Twisted Tuesdays. Since I missed yesterday, we're going to do a combination of Mental Health Monday and Twisted Tuesdays. This one that I want to share with you guys today is very personal to me and has, in a way, shaped me internally to be who I am as Dr. Brock Johansen, or in a bigger picture, just being a son of God. This story that I'm going to share with you guys today is a parable that I came across, I don't know, a couple of decades ago, not too long ago, but it has had such a huge impact on who I strive to be, and it also helps me understand a little bit about the chaos and the craziness and the greed that's going on in the world. My basic belief system is just be nice to others and have them be nice to you. Does that sound familiar? It's very simple, but remember, one of the biggest things we talk about here at the Wellness Way are the 3 T's. The 3 T's, as in the letter T, stands for traumas, toxins, and thoughts. Traumas being physical traumas, can be emotional traumas as well. Second one is our toxins, so the things that we are putting in our body or on our body or we maintain around our body. Those things eventually will seep in and they'll affect us. And we do labs and we do all sorts of treatments for things like that. But the third one is the thoughts, and that's the one that I personally have been quite challenged in my life since high school, since junior high. I've always had racing, anxious, depressed, I'm not sure if I'm good enough kind of thoughts. And when you start thinking these things, you become very isolated in your mind, and you kind of don't want people to look at you or to see you for who you are. And so you try to make your own life in your own little corner and your own little spot where you can live but not be noticed by others. To bring it all back together, thoughts is, especially during 2020 and this new year 2021, where we have been almost quite literally lawfully separated from one another, where we've been commanded and forced to stay apart from each other and to, I would say in a way, limit our human interaction with each other. We've found a little bit of workaround through our phones and our TV. We can kind of communicate, but guess who owns our phones and guess who owns the TV are people that, in my opinion, don't really have our best interest. So I wanted to share with you guys this story because it's going to help it took a lot of pressure off of my heart and my mind after reading this. And it's put me in a much better situation to deal with the stresses that what we currently find ourselves in. So it's a metaphor. It has a few different names. I'm going to put the story, there's a YouTube story that animated it. I'm going to put that in the comment section so you guys can watch it. Please share it with your family, share it with your friends, or share it with yourself. Because the message that it contains is universal. It really is. It doesn't matter what color your skin is, doesn't matter how tall you are, if you're fat, if you're skinny, if you're smart, if you're dumb, if you work for $7 an hour, or if you're a multi-billionaire. This message transcends all of those. So I hope everybody's paying attention, because like I said in the past, when I heard this, it struck me so deeply that it's changed who I am. And I think a lot of us are looking for change. We're looking for something different than what we currently have now. And sometimes we think it's by buying something but most of the time it's the lack of one, understanding your purpose in life, and then two, I would say establishing your relationship with your God. Whatever shape or form or color your God is, it doesn't matter to me, just as long as you're aspiring to understand that you are held accountable for your actions and for your words. Someday you will stand and be judged by that. So I don't care what color, shape, or form your God takes. I just believe that we all should strive to always be more Christ-like, which means be more friendly, be more outgoing, be more honest. So again, it doesn't matter what your religion or lack of religion is. This touches all of us, because this is something we all search for, I believe. So this metaphor is called "What is Heaven and What is Hell?" So that's one title. What is the difference between heaven and hell? And then the other one, they call it the parable of the long spoons. Okay, so the parable of the long spoons. And as you can see here, this guy in the green, you can see his skeleton because he's starving. He's sitting in a room that has a nice real big pot of food in it, but in order to get the food out of the pot, he has this long spoon that's stuck to his hand. So when he reaches in, he can grab it, but when he tries to put it in his mouth, because it's so far away, the food falls off. Nothing ever makes it in his mouth, and that's why he's sitting there starving. And that's what the cartoon, or that's what the story is trying to show us, that that's what hell is. Hell is having access to the things that we need, but not utilizing the tools that we've been given to maintain a happy, healthy life, both physically, spiritually, and mentally. So this person is in hell. He's stuck in hell, or she is. It doesn't matter if she's dead or alive. It still applies both to the living and to the dead. Okay? So this person's in a state of agony because he cannot feed himself the food that is literally sitting just a couple feet away from him. Okay? So that's what hell is, and I think we find ourselves in that situation right now quite a bit. We're looking, what can I do? What can I do to get more food? What can I do to get more money? What can I do to protect from a virus, or to protect from the people? Whatever it is that you currently, you guys know, because it popped up in your head. And as soon as I said you have problems or emotional or anything, you guys are already self-regulating. You're already picking that up. So we're all kind of stuck in this state right now. And I always think before I shoot a message like this, what can I say that can make a difference in somebody's life, right? That's my goal, is to always try to improve somebody's life, even my own life, 1% a day. If we all just strived to improve ourselves just 1% a day, that sounds pretty reasonable. So that doesn't stress me out. Usually I'm a stressful person. If you told me 2% improvement, I might freak out. But I can do 1%. I can improve myself 1% somewhere in my life, right? So once you do that, after a year, that's 365 days. That's 365% improvement, you could say, in just 1 year. And so be patient with yourself as well, knowing that true change, whether it's health or mental health or self-esteem or sicknesses, or maybe you feel like you don't have any skills. Maybe you feel like you're ugly. Maybe you feel like nobody listens to you. There's a lot of this, right? That's what that all represents, is that doubt, that inability to self-satisfy. So what's the good part to this, Dr. J? We've been talking a lot of gloom and doom, but there's a positive twist to it, and it's an answer for a lot of what we just talked about. I'm going to jump because I want you guys to watch this video because it's pretty cool. I'm going to jump to a different picture. Not that one. Not that one. There we go. I had a bookmark. There we go. Hey! Okay. So now we have, they closed the door to that one room where they were all starving, and then they went and they opened a second door, and this second door represents heaven, or it represents a state of peace, a state of well-being, a state of protection, answers to our questions, our doubts, our fears. How does that happen? Well, look, we got the same type of people, so nobody's different. They have the same type of tools, so nobody has an advantage or a disadvantage in this story. They're all the same. It's how they choose to apply the tools that makes the biggest difference. And as you can see, that big pot of stew is still sitting on the table. So the person in purple reached in, grabbed their spoon full of food, and instead of trying to feed themselves, they learned that if they fed the person across the table from them, that person would be blessed and lifted. And so since he has his mouth full of yummy food, what do you think he wants to do in return? He reaches his spoon into the pot of stew, grabs a spoonful, and then feeds the person in the purple. Okay? And as God and this person steps out of the room, God says that is what is heaven. But the man says, I don't understand. Everything was the same. How can there be two outcomes? And he says that God smiled. It's simple, he said. Love only requires one skill. These people learned early on to share and feed one another, while the greedy only think of themselves. So one of the biggest take-homes to this message is we already have a lot of the prayers and a lot of the need and a lot of the fear and the emptiness that we feel quite often. We can, from today on, start feeling that. It's not like we have to learn this great concept and then buy a house and then, go to school, and then we don't have to do anything to do this. We just have to do it, which means saying hi to your neighbor, wave to them. It means showing respect for each other, whether they're choosing to do one thing or another. I'll leave that very broad. It shows that it doesn't matter what color we are, as long as we work together and we feed each other. And this food is symbolic of anything. It could be a good deed. Sometimes I like to go, and as I walk down the road with my wife, sometimes I'll kick some of people's gravel back into their yards because the gravel fell onto the sidewalk. So in a way, I'm doing something very simple, but to that person, maybe he saw me kick the rock in his yard, and he's like, that's really nice. Nobody's ever done so little, but it meant so much to me before.
In Arizona, we have gravel yards, and oftentimes they get onto the sidewalk because kids.
Yeah.
And then with the HOA, you have to sweep your sidewalk so all the rocks stay in your yard. That's why that's important.
Oh, yeah. So for people that don't live in a rock
They're
desert,
like, you're kicking rocks, man.
like, nobody wants rocks in their grass. Well, we don't have grass. It's rocks on rocks on rocks. Some sand and some rocks. And it's just cactus.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you. That makes a lot of sense. So again, this lesson that I learned, I heard it decades ago, but it just stuck with me. And I truly believe that this is an answer for a lot of the prayers that are being sent out to our God, and I think this is where He's nudging us, and He always has. I'm not coming across this like I'm some prophet or some revolutionary. We've always been commanded to take care of each other. The two greatest commandments: love God and love your brother and
Your neighbor.
And your neighbor. This is exactly that. So we can show love to God by serving our neighbors. So that is my message for today. So this is how I and my wife, this is how we like to treat our patients when they come into the office. And this is also what we try to teach our children. So every week, what we like to do, our church likes to help us remember to spend time as a family. So once a week, every Monday night, we call those family home evenings. And that is time 100% dedicated just for the family. So whether you want to share a meal and talk and share a story, that's great. If you want to sit down and watch a video and then discuss as a family, that's great. If you want to go for a hike and do that, it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're doing it as a family. So I strongly challenge you guys tonight to watch this video, and within a week, because I'll check in on you in a week, I will see how you guys have done with applying this concept in your life. And if you feel like sharing in the comment section below, you can, or just direct message us. We would love to hear, because I promise you, with every law that God gives us, or with anything that He instructs us to do, there's always a blessing tied to it. So if we find ourselves lacking from blessings, we can actually show God that we need a blessing by serving, by doing good. And so this is a wonderful video on how to really kind of bring that in and put that in your heart and your soul and kind of refocus, because 2020 and 2021, for me, it's been a mental tornado. And it's pulled up a lot of roots. It's torn off my house. It's thrown the car across the field. I mean, my life has been turned upside down and flipped in every which way you can think of. And I still find peace and happiness when I listen to this message. So no matter where you find yourself at right now in life, whether you're sitting on the street watching me on a cell phone, or I don't know how you're doing that, but or you're sitting in your big mansion and you have lots of money, but you just don't have, you're missing something. Everybody's missing something, right? So watch this video and send us a few messages. Let us know how this has impacted your life, and we'll continue talking about these things, because again, why do we share these things? Why did I speak about this? It's the 3 traumas that take health away from us. Physical trauma, toxins that we put in, on, or around our bodies, and then our thoughts that we think can easily destroy us if we don't keep those in check. So watch this video so you can boost your thought processing power. And again, as our thoughts improve, our bodies will improve as well. So body and mind go hand in hand. So if you're working real hard and you're trying everything you can physically, let's add a little extra and put a little mental, spiritual, emotional in your healing as well. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys again this week. Bye-bye.